I was sitting on my couch Sunday night watching the Golden Globes like I always do. You know, with my coffee and my phone ready to screenshot all the gorgeous gowns. And I had to literally pause the TV and rewind. I'm not even kidding. I thought maybe my screen resolution was off or something because some of these stars looked completely different from the last time we saw them. And I don't mean different like, oh, she got a new hairstyle or I love that dress color on her. I mean different in a way that made my heart sink a little bit. The kind of different that has you texting your girlfriend saying, did you see so-and-so? Are they okay? Because here's what I realized as the night went on. This wasn't just about fashion or beauty trends anymore. This was about something bigger happening in Hollywood. And honestly, it's something we need to talk about. The pressure on women, especially women over 40, to look a certain way has reached a whole new level. And what we're seeing on these red carpets is starting to tell a story about health, about honesty, and about the impossible standards we're all living under. And what I discovered at number 1, it absolutely broke my heart. But we need to talk about all of it. I'm starting with Angelina because honestly, the concern for her has been building for years now. The 49-year-old actress walked the Golden Globes red carpet, and fans immediately took to social media expressing worry about her dramatic change in appearance. Angelina has been through an incredibly difficult few years. Her divorce from Brad Pitt, custody battles, family stress. Sources close to her have suggested she's dealing with the emotional toll, and it's showing physically. Me is watching someone who was once the embodiment of strength and beauty and power, the fierce mother, the humanitarian, appearing so different under the weight of personal pain. Comments flooded in from fans who've followed her career for decades, many noticing the rapid transformation, especially in her features and overall presence. People expressed genuine concern, with messages asking if she was okay and hoping she had support. This isn't about aesthetics. This is about watching someone we care about going through visible stress publicly while we all feel helpless. It reminds us that behind every red carpet appearance, there's a real human being dealing with real-life challenges. And the fact that this is happening while she's still working, still showing up, still pushing through, that takes incredible strength, even when the toll is so visible. But this wasn't the only dramatic change that had everyone talking. Girl, we need to talk about Ariana Grande. The 32-year-old has been at the center of fan concerns for months, especially during the Wicked press tour. At the Golden Globes, wearing a beautiful black gown, Ariana sparked intense conversation. Social media comments included fans expressing genuine worry about the rapid changes they'd noticed in her appearance over the past year. Here's what's important to understand. Ariana has addressed this repeatedly, even getting emotional in interviews. She's explained that the body people remember from earlier wasn't actually her at her healthiest.
Really dangerous. And I think it's dangerous for all parties involved because no one has the right to say
the body that you've been comparing my current body to was the unhealthiest version of my body.
That was when she was dealing with difficult circumstances and medication effects. She's asked people to stop commenting on her appearance. She's defended her current health journey.
And I think in today's society, there's a comfortability that we shouldn't have at all. Commenting on others' looks, appearance, what they think is going on behind the scenes, or health, or how they present themselves. You know, from what you're wearing to your body, to your face, to your everything. There's a comfortability that people have.
She's been as transparent as anyone could be about the pressures and challenges she faces in the public eye. And still, the concern persists among fans who care about her well-being. Many have wondered if the demands of filming Wicked, the intense schedule, the physical requirements of the role, took more of a toll than anyone expected. The transformation has been rapid enough that longtime fans who've watched her since her Nickelodeon days feel compelled to express concern. And watching someone navigate that level of scrutiny while trying to maintain privacy about their health must be absolutely exhausting. Nicole Kidman at 58 has always been naturally tall and elegant, but her appearance at the Golden Globes sparked renewed conversation about noticeable changes fans had observed. Here's what we need to understand about Nicole's situation. She lost her mother in 2024. She's been working nonstop, 5 TV shows and 3 movies in 3 years. She's admitted that stress and grief have affected her physically in ways she couldn't control. Certain things penetrate in a really deep way, she said in an interview. Even my children have noticed the changes. Fans expressed concern about her dramatic shift in appearance, with many commenting that she looked noticeably different from recent years. The change seemed rapid and sparked genuine worry among longtime admirers. This is the kind of transformation that feels different from the others. This isn't about chasing youth or fitting an ideal. This seems like genuine distress manifesting physically. It's grief-related change. It's stress showing up in visible ways. It's the kind of shift that comes from life hitting you hard. And it reminds us that not every transformation is about vanity or pressure. Sometimes life just knocks you down, and your body reflects that struggle. The concern for Nicole feels different because we're not worried about her choices. We're worried about her pain and what she's going through during such a difficult time. The irony with Demi Moore at 63 is almost too perfect. She attended the Golden Globes promoting her movie, a film that directly critiques Hollywood's obsession with youth and the extreme measures women take to stay relevant. And then she walked the carpet looking dramatically different. Fans and plastic surgery experts watching at home noticed what appeared to be significant cosmetic work, with speculation about facial procedures creating an overall different appearance. Think about that for a second. She's starring in a movie warning us about these exact pressures, while simultaneously appearing to be affected by them herself. The movie is about a woman who tries to create a better version of herself and loses everything. And here's Demi, promoting it while looking notably altered. That's not a criticism of Demi, it's an indictment of the system. Even when you're making art that exposes Hollywood's toxicity, you're still expected to play by its rules. For us as viewers, especially women her age, it's both inspiring and heartbreaking. Inspiring that she's still working at 63, still leading major films. Heartbreaking that, even at 63, after everything she's accomplished, the pressure to look a certain way apparently remains overwhelming. The comments ranged from admiration for her courage to concern about the extent of the changes, and that paradox that we can simultaneously celebrate her while worrying about what she felt she needed to do. That's the whole problem in a nutshell. Cynthia Erivo's transformation for Wicked has been the subject of intense discussion. The 39-year-old has talked openly about the grueling demands of the role.
I think it is a very different beast to the first movie.
Reportedly getting very limited rest, intense wire work causing physical strain.
3, 2, 1, action!
Daily workouts before long shoot days. At the Golden Globes, fans noticed she appeared noticeably different than in previous years. Many expressed concern about the rapid change they'd observed during the press tour. What's important to understand about Cynthia is that she's framed everything as professional necessity. She needed certain physical changes for the wire work. She needed to be strong for the demanding stunts. She's described it as dedication to her craft, and I believe that. I believe she pushed herself incredibly hard for a role that meant everything to her career and her artistry. But here's my question as a woman who's seen this pattern before. When does dedication cross a line? When does professional commitment potentially impact long-term health? And why are these the choices women have to make for roles that men never have to make? Cynthia's situation feels like the logical endpoint of method acting combined with Hollywood's physical expectations for women. Push yourself to extremes, transform dramatically, all in service of art, and then be celebrated for your dedication while questions about well-being get dismissed as concern trolling. Melissa McCarthy at 55 was trending all night, and mostly for good reasons. The Bridesmaids star has transformed gradually over several years, and at the Golden Globes in her stunning Christian Siriano gown, she looked absolutely radiant. What I love about Melissa's story is her honesty about the mental aspect. She's talked about finally saying to herself, "Oh, for God's sake, stop worrying about it." She stopped over-analyzing and overthinking her body. "I truly stopped worrying about it," she told CBS Mornings. "And it may be the best thing I've ever done." That mental shift, from obsession to peace, that's what made the difference. Not some crash approach, not extreme measures. Just releasing the anxiety around it all and making sustainable changes at her own pace. Melissa looked happy. She looked healthy. She looked like someone who made changes that worked for her lifestyle. Her husband Ben Falcone was by her side, and designer Christian Siriano celebrated her look on Instagram. But even she faced speculation from some corners, even with her gradual transformation, because we've been so conditioned to expect shortcuts that we sometimes can't believe in doing it the sustainable way anymore. For women our age, Melissa represents hope. Hope that you can make changes without suffering. Hope that mental peace matters more than meeting some external standard.
So I really didn't think this was going to happen.
Kathy Bates at 77 has done something remarkable. She's been completely honest. The legendary actress has openly discussed her health journey over recent years, crediting lifestyle changes and acknowledging that medication helped with some aspects. Her transformation is dramatic. At the Golden Globes, she was noticeably different, and she looked genuinely happy about it. She's talked about needing to make changes for health reasons, mobility, diabetes prevention, quality of life at her age. But even with all that honesty, even with legitimate health motivations, some fans still expressed concern. Comments ranged from supportive to questioning whether the changes were too dramatic, showing that transparency doesn't necessarily equal universal acceptance. Kathy represents the complexity of this entire conversation. She did something beneficial for her health goals. She was honest about her approach. She seems happy with the results, and yet change is so dramatic that it still sparks mixed reactions. For women in their 70s, seeing Kathy's transformation can be both inspiring and thought-provoking. Inspiring that health improvements are possible at any age. Worth discussing because even at 77, there's still cultural pressure about appearance. The fact that she's been so open about her journey, discussing what worked, what didn't, what helped, that transparency is genuinely valuable in an industry built on secrets. Can we talk about Selena Gomez for a second? Because this one really frustrates me. The 33-year-old has been nothing but transparent about her lupus, her kidney transplant, her medications that cause natural fluctuations. She's explained repeatedly that her body changes based on her health management. When she appears fuller, it's often related to medication effects. When she looks different, it's when her treatment is adjusted. At the Golden Globes, Selena appeared different than at some other recent events, and immediately speculation started flying. People questioned various aspects of her appearance, with some cruel comments suggesting she'd made unnecessary choices. Here's what makes me upset. Selena has extensively documented health reasons for her body's fluctuations. She's been more honest than almost any celebrity needs to be about her medical journey. And still, people refuse to just believe her. This is what happens to women in the public eye. Your truth isn't enough. Your medical explanations aren't enough. Your transparency doesn't protect you from speculation and judgment. Selena showed up at the Globes with her husband Benny Blanco, looking happy and in love. That should be the story, not endless scrutiny of how she looks at any given moment while she's managing her health.
Could say to you that I haven't said to you already, but I will forever be grateful.
Emma Stone won for her role in Bugonia, and she looked absolutely stunning in this butter yellow Louis Vuitton crop top and skirt. At 37, she was glowing, truly radiant on one of her big nights. But fans couldn't stop discussing how flawless and smooth her features looked. The speculation ran from subtle procedures to what some observers called an uncanny quality to her appearance. One comment that stuck with me was about how everyone has the same polished look now. Same features, same smoothness. It's like we're losing individuality. And that's the heartbreaking truth, isn't it? In trying to achieve some standard of perfection, we're potentially losing what makes each person unique. Emma Stone's quirky, expressive features were part of her charm and appeal. If those have been altered through procedures, we've lost something irreplaceable. The sadness isn't in her looking beautiful. She absolutely does. The sadness is in her looking like she could be anyone. Like the distinct qualities that made her recognizable are being smoothed away in favor of a more generic ideal of perfection. It's the homogenization that worries people, not any individual choice she's made.
Guys, that truly has completely blown my slicked hair back. Thank you so much.
Emily Blunt at 42 sparked intense discussion that had actually been building since late 2025. Fans noticed her face appeared different, with speculation about possible cosmetic procedures in her cheeks and other areas. The comments were concerned. Her appearance has changed quite a bit, and observers noted that many actresses seem to be getting similar work done, creating a sameness across Hollywood. Emily has never confirmed any procedures. And you know what? She shouldn't have to. Her face and her choices are her business. Full stop. But the conversation around her highlights something important. We're now so trained to spot possible procedures that we analyze every angle of a woman's face. We've become armchair experts, convinced we can identify every enhancement. As a woman in her early 40s, Emily is at that age where Hollywood's pressure becomes crushing. You're still leading lady age, but you're also at the maybe you should consider preventative measures age according to industry whispers. The pressure to maintain must be absolutely overwhelming. The fact that we can even have these discussions about someone who's naturally beautiful and aging normally, that's the problem. That's the unrealistic standard at work.
This morning I woke up and I said, it's Golden Globe morning. I'm going to see Jennifer Lawrence and we're going to talk about Salt Lake.
This one hit me hard. Jennifer Lawrence built her early career on defying expectations. During the Hunger Games era, she famously refused certain industry demands, championed a strong athletic build, ate freely in interviews, and was celebrated as the relatable girl. At the Golden Globes, the 35-year-old wore this stunning sheer floral gown, and she looked beautiful, but she also looked noticeably different than during her breakthrough years. The unique qualities that made her stand out seemed less prominent. Fans noticed immediately. One comment said, "Bring back the Jennifer Lawrence who seemed more confident in her natural self." Another observed the shift from her earlier public persona. What breaks my heart is that even someone who was such a vocal presence for body confidence eventually seemed to feel pressure to change. If Jennifer Lawrence, with all her fame and power and previous outspokenness, felt that pressure, what does that say about the system? It says the machine is stronger than any individual woman. It says the standard is non-negotiable for those who want to keep working. It says eventually the pressure gets to everyone.
I would not call myself that, but
I'm gonna call you that.
I definitely feel like there's been a shift in my life.
Sweet Jenna Ortega, our Wednesday star, walked the carpet in this gorgeous gothic gown that was absolutely on brand for her. At 23, she's at the beginning of her career, and she's always been petite. That's just her natural build. But this year, comments like, "She looks quite different," and "Is she okay?" appeared across social media. Some speculated about possible procedures like buccal fat removal, basically altering the cheeks to create more angular features, though Jenna hasn't confirmed anything like that. Here's what's heartbreaking about Jenna's situation. She's so young. She's still figuring out who she is, and she's doing it under this microscope where every angle of her face gets analyzed, where her body becomes public property for comment. As women over 40, we remember what it was like to be in our 20s, trying to find ourselves. Can you imagine doing that with millions of people watching and commenting? The pressure to maintain a certain look, especially when you're typecast as this dark, mysterious character, it must be absolutely crushing. She's already facing the same scrutiny that usually doesn't hit actresses until their 30s or 40s. Starting that young doesn't bode well for long-term well-being.
I'm Nikki Glaser, and I am absolutely thrilled to be your host tonight. Thank you.
Now, Nikki Glaser is someone I actually want to applaud, even though her transformation sparked major conversation. The 41-year-old comedian hosted the Golden Globes for the second year, and she looked noticeably different from her first hosting gig. But here's the thing about Nikki. She's been brutally honest about everything. She's admitted to getting procedures, calling them investments in herself. She's talked openly about her approach to wellness.
I'm doing the type of meditation that removes your eyelid skin. It's just this new, that's what they say. I'm drinking more water, you know?
Saying things like, "If you want to make changes, do it," in her own bold way. During the show, she even joked about herself with her signature self-deprecating humor. That self-awareness, that honesty, it's refreshing in an industry built on secrets and NDAs. The interesting part is that despite all her openness, fans still questioned aspects of her appearance. Comments wondered if things had gone too far, which makes you think, can women ever win? If we're secretive, we're dishonest. If we're honest, we're judged for our choices. Nikki represents this impossible middle ground where honesty is appreciated, but the results are still criticized. She's owning her decisions in a way few celebrities do, and that takes courage even when it invites commentary.
You are presenting tonight, correct?
Yeah, well, I'm here presenting tonight to the best actress in a comedy.
Pamela Anderson has been on a fascinating journey with her appearance over the past few years. The 58-year-old has famously embraced a no-makeup philosophy, showing up to events fresh-faced in a way that's actually quite revolutionary for Hollywood. At the 2026 Golden Globes, she returned to her signature platinum blonde hair, looking every bit the icon we remember. And you know what? I actually loved seeing her embrace that. It felt like a full circle moment. But here's where it gets interesting. Fans noticed that while she claims to be makeup-free,
and I just started taking it all back and then started peeking out without makeup, and then I started realizing I feel great.
There were observations about subtle enhancements that didn't quite match the completely natural narrative, which raises this question we need to discuss. Can a woman in Hollywood truly exist without any enhancement? Is the pressure so intense that even when we think we're seeing natural, there's still significant effort happening behind the scenes? Pamela's transformation isn't about dramatic physical changes, it's about the performance of naturalness. And honestly, that might be just as exhausting as the full glam routine. The expectation that we should look effortlessly beautiful while actually putting in invisible effort, that's a trap so many of us know too well.
I'm so excited to be presenting with Kate Hudson. She's the star of my new show, Running Point, on Netflix.
Mindy Kaling at 46 has been very open about her wellness journey over the past few years. She's made changes gradually, and she's credited sustainable lifestyle shifts, movement, and mindful eating. At the Golden Globes, she wore this gorgeous cutout dress that showed off her transformed figure. And honestly, she looked happy, she looked healthy, she looked like someone who'd made changes that worked for her life. Mindy represents what we all hope to see, a genuine health journey that happens over time, with honesty about the work involved. She hasn't claimed claimed any magic solutions. She's been real about the effort and consistency required, but even she faced some speculation. People questioned aspects of her transformation. The nature of change had some wondering. And that's the thing. We've become so conditioned to expect shortcuts that even when someone appears to be doing things sustainably, we doubt them. For women our age, Mindy's approach feels achievable. It feels real. And maybe that's exactly why it sparked less controversy than some of the more rapid transformations. She's proof that patient, consistent effort over time can create meaningful change without raising alarm bells. This one really stopped me because, honestly, I wasn't expecting to include any men on this list. But girl, when Ashton Kutcher walked that red carpet with Mila, their first major awards show in 3 years, social media absolutely erupted. The 47-year-old looked noticeably different. Fans were commenting extensively, with observations about how much he'd changed in a relatively short time. People genuinely seemed concerned. Now, Ashton's been through a lot. He's been public about health challenges in the past, and aging is natural. We all do it. But the dramatic change sparked conversation. The fascinating thing is how rarely we talk about men's transformations compared to women's. Ashton got one night of chatter, but the women? We're still discussing them weeks later. That double standard alone tells you everything about Hollywood's expectations for women versus men. Men can show up looking different and get a pass as aging naturally or going through stress. Women showing the same signs, they face endless speculation, concern, and commentary that doesn't let up for months. That inequity in how we discuss and perceive aging between genders, that's a whole conversation in itself. You know what the #1 most shocking transformation at the Golden Globes 2026 was? It wasn't any individual celebrity, it was Hollywood itself. The real transformation was watching an entire industry snap back to glorifying certain physical standards after a decade of body positivity progress. The real shock was seeing how many women felt pressured to dramatically change their appearance for one night of validation. The real story was realizing that despite all our progress, despite all our conversations about health and acceptance and diversity, the machine still demands conformity to impossible standards, and women are still sacrificing their uniqueness, their peace of mind, potentially their health, to achieve it. That's the transformation that should concern us most. The difference now is the tools available to achieve these standards have become more accessible and more powerful. The transformations can happen faster. The changes can be more dramatic. And the pressure to participate has intensified because everyone else is doing it. Look, I started this video talking about not recognizing stars at the Golden Globes. But by the end, I realized the deeper issue, we're losing the ability to celebrate individuality in Hollywood. We're seeing faces altered until distinct characteristics disappear. We're seeing the same pressures, the same standards applied to everyone until they all start looking eerily similar. And as women over 40, we know something younger fans don't yet understand. This never ends well. We've seen cycles like this before. We remember the health consequences. We remember the casualties. The difference now is the speed and accessibility. These transformations are happening faster than ever. The tools are more powerful, and the silence around them is more calculated. What I want us to take away from this is compassion for these women who are under impossible pressure, for ourselves when we feel similar pressure in our own lives, and for the next generation who's watching all of this unfold. We deserve to age naturally. We deserve to take up space. We deserve to be seen and valued for more than our appearance. We deserve to look different from each other. And Hollywood needs to remember that the most beautiful thing about any performer is the humanity they bring to their work. And you can't bring humanity if you're being pressured to erase your individual characteristics in favor of some homogenized standard. If this conversation meant something to you, subscribe and turn on notifications. We've got so much more real talk coming because somebody needs to keep having these honest conversations.